Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gamers Hall. I'm Chris.
And I'm Adam.
And today we're going to be talking about Monk Subclass, the
Way of the Ascendant Dragon.
One great thing starting off is I love the Ascendant Dragon origin table chart that they have.
Gives you a good idea of how this subclass, how this person trained at first, or learned what they're going to, seeing what they're eventually going to be able to do. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just
And if not,
you hung out with an ancient dragon for a while, you learned some stuff as well.
Or a wormling.
Yeah.
But like it's also just the fact of like I like that this gives you something to go off of, so that if you don't like any of these options, you at least have something to kind of reference that you can make something up on your own.
Modify, change. It's good. It gives you a starting point, which is always good in the subclasses. Like, how did you get to this point? What started it? This is a good starting point for the subclass.
Yeah. But let's talk about the things you get at third level, which starting off, you have the Draconic Disciple. And first off, you're going to get Tongue of Dragons. You learn to speak, read, and write Draconic. If you already know Draconic, you can choose another language.
Yes.
I love that fact because there's some classes that you get something specifically, and it's like, well, I already knew this language. Like, so it gives you nothing. But this one, it says, hey, if you already knew it, then pick something else.
Yeah, and from a role-playing standpoint, always having another language is great.
Yes.
It's a good thing to use, and more DMs should use different languages in their campaigns for sure, to especially benefit these subclasses that give you a language.
Yes.
Or classes in general that give you more languages. There's more things to speak different languages than just common, right?
Yeah.
So this is good.
The other thing is you get Draconic Presence. So if you fail a Charisma Intimidation check or a Charisma Persuasion check, you can use a reaction to re-roll the check as you tap into your Mighty Presence of Dragons. Once this feature turns a failure into a success, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest.
So this one I have mixed feelings about, because I feel as a monk martial artist, why did you suddenly gain the ability to manipulate charismatic roles? But Chris has talked me into some different ways that this could actually make sense.
Which he totally gets the intimidation one.
I totally get the
Dragons
intimidation.
can be very intimidating.
Taking the stance of a dragon is intimidating, because remember, these creatures are powerful creatures. Everything across the multiverse knows that
they're huge creatures.
I mean, they're even large, but they're still, everything knows a dragon is dangerous, right?
Yes. But
you're a monk. You're not a dragon.
Yeah.
But you're taking on the power of a dragon in this sense. And that's what's manipulating it. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I can see where if you take it from the viewpoint of you're taking on the power of a dragon, that it could sort of exude. But really,
yeah, and
dragons are charismatic, intimidation, and persuasive and deceptive because they're this freaking big.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of things that would look at a dragon and go, nope.
Yeah, but I mean, in the books, a lot of the chromatic dragons are more typically intimidating, whereas the metallic dragons are more typically persuasive, which is why I think they put this in here. And the way I was explaining it to Adam is that I think the way you would explain this is that, okay, your character, through talking to dragons and training with them, has learned people's tells. So it's like, oh yeah, I'll give you 6 gold for this, and like you see their tell of like they're not having that they're not okay with that. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry, did I say 6? I meant 8, and I'll do you a slight favor. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Which, okay, that's fine. It's okay. A weird ability for a monk to have, but cool, thanks.
Yeah, you're a really good kind of poker player.
Yeah, sure. Monk that plays poker. That sounds fun.
I mean, let's switch it to Mahjong or what's that?
Actually, dice would be
Go
or some other stuff. But let's get to the most powerful aspect of this
90% of people that are probably taking this subclass are taking it for this one reason: Draconic Strike.
When you damage a target with an unarmed strike, that's the important part, an unarmed strike, you change the damage to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. That is a big deal. Yes, there's not a whole lot of things in the game that particularly care to, they might have resistance and stuff, but there's not a lot of things that have vulnerabilities. But the fact that you can change them on the fly is huge. At any time, I can have one of these abilities, which even outside of combat gives you effects. Because if any time you can say, I'm going to punch this pile of leaves with my fire fist over and over and over again, well, maybe you just start a fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's doing fire damage.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's... I don't like this the way it is, because, one, it's really strong.
Yeah, it's very strong.
Two, it's... I mean, obviously, most people are going to go to it for this, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If you trained with a dragon, you're going to learn that dragon's type. Did you train with all 5 dragons to learn all 5 types?
See, here's the opposite of that. Well, maybe you didn't train with a dragon. You trained with a bunch of books and a bunch of masters that have learned from different types of dragons, and your temple is the temple of the 10 dragon way, and they all know all these different things because one of them is a master of this dragon, one's a master of that dragon, so you've learned all the other types. So maybe you didn't train with any dragon, you just trained with a bunch of people that are mimicking dragons.
Okay, but I feel like this would be...
But I agree with you.
I feel like this is better suited for the elemental monk, not
I also
the
100%
dragon
agree.
monk.
100% agree. This makes way more sense for an elemental monk. Way more sense. But okay.
But like,
it's definitely the strongest.
I feel like when you chose this subclass, you, instead of just gaining access to all 5 of them, you should just pick one, and that's the one your character has.
I would say that's fine with me as well.
But I know that a lot of people aren't going to like that, but that's just honestly how I feel about it.
Yeah. So the next part that you get at 3rd level, the next feature is Breath of the Dragon. This is also just fantastic.
But this is amazing. Yeah, I mean, you can do a breath attack. You choose the damage type.
Mm-hmm. It's either a 20-foot cone or a 30-foot line, and it does decent damage with your key as a save, and it does half as much on a fail. So I mean, if you're getting guaranteed damage from your attack.
Yep.
And not many classes that can say they have guaranteed damage from all their attacks.
Yep. And the damage it takes is equal to 2 rolls of your martial art die. So it's going to scale with your monk.
Yeah. So it starts off at 2d4, then it goes 3, eventually 2d6, 2d8, which is pretty good, and then eventually it's going to get much better.
At 11th level, it is when it goes to 3.
Yeah, 11th level is 3, which by then is 3, it's about to be 3d8. I think 12th level is when it goes 3d8.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's pretty darn good.
Oh yeah, and
strong.
And then you get you get a number of uses equal to your proficiency bonus of this. Mm-hmm. You can spend 2 key points to use it again,
which is a great addition to it. Thank you for giving us more ways to use our key points when we need it. So
and
it
also
makes this more of
AoE attacks.
Yeah,
a monk with AoE attacks. So instead of having to be close combat, like you could position yourself to hit a bunch of people,
and you take the position of a controller instead of more of a striker. Now you can do some of the job that is usually for sorcerers and wizards, in some case clerics. Now you can go, well, I can take some of that burden off of you and deal with this small rabble while fighter paladin boy over there beat the crap out of the one big thing. I'll take on the little things. Yeah. Which it used to be the other way around. The monk would go take on the big thing and keep it locked. Now it's like, well, I have options, which is good. That's great. Give them options.
Yes.
Very good start for 3 levels into this class.
Oh, yeah. And then now let's go into the 6th level ability. So at 6th level, you get Wings Unfurled, which basically you bonus actions, use your key point to Step of the Winds. Well, you gain unfurled spectral draconic wings from your back that vanish at the end of your turn. While the wings exist, you have a fly speed equal to your walking speed.
Yep, and you get a number of times equal to your proficiency modifier, and you regain them all after a long rest. So when you first get this, you're going to have it 3 uses.
Yes.
Which, at any given time, just being able to fly is always useful. And a lot of people, I've noticed when I run the game store, people played monks, and then just in my own experience, that people didn't use, and you've seen this on other things, they didn't use Step of the Wind all the time.
90% of the people that I ran games for that played monks, majority of the time, did not use Step of the Wind.
And when I played my monk, I used Step of the Wind all the time. It was one of my favorite features because I was based around mobility. I would have loved having the ability to just suddenly go, I can fly. Because my favorite thing is to run up walls. Well, now I can just fly up to the wall and stick to it and go do... Well, I wouldn't stick. You have to land on a flat spot. But being able to bounce around and would be cool, like the movie Crouching Tiger,
Hidden Dragon.
This is basically what you're doing with
this. You get the flying steps, like the giant leaps, basically. Yeah. But like that's also kind of the bad thing about this is that you have to end your turn back on the ground.
Yes.
So you fly up to something, hit it, come back. You can't just stay in the air flying, fighting something. But I mean, that's not a bad thing.
It came up with a cute thing. Maybe you're fighting something large. If your DM will allow it in some way, maybe you land on the large creature that you flew up to, and somehow stay on it for long enough to be able to
try and grapple it to hang on to it or something.
Yeah, or just land on its back and surf it. You know, you're a monk. You're supposed to
let you. Yeah,
you're supposed to do things like that. Well, they might not let you. You might just have to try to hold on for dear life or fall the next turn it decides to move.
Yeah.
But it's still a cool ability. It's a nice addition to the Step of the Wind. It makes it something most people don't think about. Now they will think about.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You add Fly to Step of the Wind, there's a good chance you're going to be spending your key points to Step of the Wind to get that extra movement to do something like that.
Don't forget, you can do this at the beginning before you move any. So now your entire double movement can be flying.
Yeah, but also I love the fact that this is in and out of combat ability use.
Yes. Also another huge plus.
Yeah, just like with the stuff you gain at 3rd level, you gain in combat and out of combat abilities. Well, it's also nice that your 6th level one is something that you can use in and out of combat as well.
Leap over that cavern that the rest of the party can't do, and the wizard's like, I need to hold my spells, so I don't need to cast Fly. Yeah. Well, he's like, I got it. Hand me a rope. I'll get us secured up over there.
Somebody cut the bridge down. I can make it across.
Yeah, I got it. I'll figure it out. There's a lever over there that activates the bridge across. Or we need to get over that magma pool so you can come around and do something. It's a great tool in your toolkit.
Yeah, and it's also just great flavor for storytelling that is going to be a part of this monk's progression through the campaign. Next is the aspect of the Wyrm. And the power of your Draconic spirit radiates from you, warding your allies or inspiring fear in your enemies. As a bonus action, you create an aura of Draconic power that radiates 10 feet from you for a minute. And while this is up, you gain Frightful Presence. When you create this aura as a bonus action on subsequent turns, you can choose a creature within the aura. The target must succeed a Wisdom saving throw against your key save DC or become frightened of you for a minute. The target can repeat this saving throw at the end of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a successful save. You and your allies gain resistance to a chosen damage type: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. As long as they are within your aura. You gain 1 free use of this, and then if you want to do it anytime after that, you have to spend 3 key points to do it again.
So, first off, good. Thank you for letting us do this again with key points.
Yeah, key point reuse is something I feel a lot of monks need.
Yeah, so you can keep doing the thing you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
That's good. The Frightful Presence, so this is a mimicry of the dragon's natural ability that they're big, they're scary creatures, naturally things know
Naturally being able to exude fear into things.
Yeah.
Which I like this because I like that you can scare something, and once they save, they're not immune to it.
Yeah.
After that, you can keep trying to bonus action put fear into one or another creature.
Yeah. Great use. Bonus actions. Doing it as bonus action is good. So basically, you're giving up an extra hit that you probably would have gotten, or 2 hits in the case of Flurry of Blows, in order to frighten something and basically make them have disadvantage to hit you.
Right.
Or if you start running, they're not chasing you. That's great because they can't get any closer to you. So that's cool.
The resistance.
The resistance is pretty strong.
You get to choose the type.
You choose the type, and your allies within 10 feet. So your frontline buddies are going to be safe with you in this aura. And you can use tactics with like wizards or sorcerers or other people that shoot area effects into the spot.
And you just go ahead, throw a lightning bolt or a fireball here, guys. I can make everybody immune. We're okay.
At this point, Cone of Cold's a thing, so yeah, sure, blast us with the cold. Who cares? We're fine.
Yeah,
we can take the hit. But one thing is this feels. It seems like it's really good, but it's also a little underwhelming in a way. Because the Frightful Presence is, it's if they pass it, then nothing, right? So you could keep wasting a bonus action every turn, nothing.
But the good point is that you can keep
doing it. That's true, but it's also, you got to keep doing it over and over again. But you can still target other people,
and it's only a bonus action, so you're not giving up a whole lot.
Yeah. But at the same point, it's like, why is this a monk thing? I mean,
you're becoming more like a dragon.
Yes, you're becoming more like a dragon, but you're not becoming more like a martial artist, right? This is not.
Now hold on.
This is not where
this could be one of those things where you choose the aspect of the Wyrm and you create a martial arts stance. Like, you assume a fighting style, and when people see this style, it's like, oh, there's not many people that know that style.
Yeah.
So like, it's a rare fighting style, and when they see that could be exuding fear.
I agree with that, but it's one of those weird aspects where I feel it is going in because it's really the power of your draconic spirit now radiates from you. So it's an axis of power coming off of you, not.
Well, I mean, this is one of those things where
I would flavor it that way.
It's up to the player how they want to flavor it. Because, like, okay, for instance, the way I would flavor it is like a spectral form appears. So, like, whether it's on you, so like depending on what damage type you choose, maybe that type of dragon's head is like spectrally above you, like on yours, or maybe just a whole like spectral dragon shows up and it's the one like going around in this 10-foot radius, like, keeping you protected and your allies, and or trying to exude fear into certain creatures.
Right. I can see all that. It's just, as a die-hard monk fan, it starts getting to me when it's less about the martial arts and more just about the power that you assume.
Yeah, but like I said, you could
flavor it that way.
You could flavor it.
You could definitely flavor it.
You choose a stance of the dragon, like you got praying mantis, snake, tiger. Dragon can be one of them. Or you could actually have it to where you're like, you actually physically change.
You could. I mean, you could go Super Saiyan with this, and this is maybe your version of Super Saiyan.
Super Dragon.
I don't know. It just feels... It's good. It's not bad. It's not a bad ability. It just feels... off to me.
The only thing I can think is bad is like it has a 10-foot radius.
Yeah, 10 foot's very small, especially when you start dealing with the 11th level. So which a monk wants to get close and do the fight, but auras out to 10 feet don't do much. And if you've ever played a paladin, you realize a 10-foot aura is not a whole lot, which means everybody needs to really group up around you for it to become effective. It's only when it becomes a 30-foot aura later on for paladins that you're like, all right, now we're good, guys. You don't have to be next to me. We don't have to worry about that random AoE spell jacking us all up.
Yeah. But, I mean, still, as a beginning thing, 10 foot is still not that bad. One of the weaknesses, I think, of this is that, it's the Frightful Presence works off a DC save. And unless you pumped a lot of points in your Wisdom, they're going to pass it a lot. Because, I mean...
Base 14 is probably what you're looking at. A base 14 of DC.
By the time you get this ability.
By the time you get it, and it could be better, but DC 14 at 11th level, it's not that strong. It's for what you normally would do. It's
granted, it is a Wisdom saving throw,
right?
So that's going to help a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's a good thing you can do it every turn, because that's the only saving grace in this is you do it every turn. So maybe you get lucky and something fails it.
Yeah,
but I think you're looking at most things that you really want to use this on is probably better than a 50-50 chance that they pass it.
Yeah, and also another one of the downsides of this is it is very combat reliant. There is no in and out of combat on this one. It is all combat.
All 100% combat. You could use the resistance out of combat for specific things, but this is a just straight up, I'm using this for fights.
Yeah. And then now the one that we both really have mixed feelings on this one is the Ascendant Aspect that you get at level 17. So you get a augmented breath, so you can spend one key point to augment the shape and power of your breath when you use it. So it goes back and it bumps up your 3rd level ability, which is nice.
Yes.
And you do a 60-foot cone or a 90-foot line, and each creature in that area will take damage equal to 4 rolls of your martial art dice.
Which by this time is D10s.
Yeah. And then if they save, it's half. You get Blind Sight out to 10 feet. And you get Explosive Fury. When you activate your aspect of the Wyrm, Draconic Fury explodes from you. Choose any number of creatures that you can see inside your aura, which is 10 feet, and all of those creatures make a dexterity saving throw. And if they fail, they take 3d10 of the chosen damage type. Okay. Acid, fire, cold, lightning, poison.
We'll start with Augmented Breath. Both of us agree, great ability.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with this ability, and it fits for a 17th level ability.
Oh,
it's modifying something you're already using to be better, and it gives this monk so much more versatility than it had before.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're essentially doing a weaker Cone of Cold for very little.
It's tripling the size of your breath as well, because it goes from 20 to 60 cone or 30 to 90. And that amount of reach can get a lot of things. Even if it's not a ton, doing a bunch of damage, but it can clear the way, and that's what you want it to do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Blind Sight, I feel like... Okay. Blind Sight, thank you. It's cool. It's great. Good. It's a lot... It's really late. It's Blind Sight at 10 feet... for a 17th level ability is not that strong. I feel like what they should have done is put the Blind Sight in the aspect of the Wyrm.
I agree.
And then when you use the when you get the Ascendant Aspect, it increases your Blind Sight out to 30 feet.
Yeah, or at very least 20 feet.
Yeah.
At very least, because 20 feet would cover most problems. 30 feet would be great. But yeah, I agree. A little too late. There's lots of ways by 17th level you're not really caring whether something goes invisible or not. You could already have taken a feat that would have done this anyway. Or there's class features and other things that get you to this point, magic items and other stuff, that 10 feet just seems underwhelming.
And it's just too late.
Yeah.
Blind Sight at 17th level, it's way too late. Like, at 11th level, it would have been great.
And most people don't even make it to 17th level when they play unless they just happen to start a campaign at this high a level. So you're putting an ability that could have been very useful for a monk. Very, very useful for a monk at such a late level that it just doesn't really matter that much anymore.
Yeah, and most of your dragons have like Blind Sight or True Sight, so that would have been great in the aspect of the Wyrm and not the Ascendant aspect.
Which they're usually gaining that ability like at their adult level. which is what the 11th level is supposed to mimic, is the adult version of the dragon. And most of them are gaining that sight at the adult level of a dragon.
Yeah.
So you're waiting till the ancient version of that you're mimicking to suddenly have blind sight, when really that's probably one of the strongest things about dragons, is that they know you're there.
Yeah. They got that sense.
You're not hiding from a dragon most of the time. It knows
Mhm.
you're there. It takes a lot of work to hide from them, and But thank you. There's nothing wrong with it, really. It's just too late.
Yeah. And then the explosive fury. And now the one bad thing about this is it happens one time. You have to use the aspect of the Wyrm in order to activate it, and it's a save or suck spell. So if they save, it sucks. If they don't, you get the damage on them. But it's one time.
It's one time, only out to 10 feet, only up to creatures that you can see, which, by the way, you can see everything in your 10 feet because of blind sight, so that's not a problem. But at this level, I've played, DM'd campaigns and made it to epic level. I've played in a game or two where we played that. For this little bitty amount of damage, being able to get somebody within 10 feet, you're getting maybe 2 to 3 creatures at most ever for a save or suck thing. So it's a bonus that you get it, but it's very underwhelming, because why doesn't it just say half damage on a fail? Seems like one little thing they could have tagged on that would have been totally fine, not broken the game, not hurt it at all. Just said, okay, fine, on half damage.
Yeah.
Because it's 17th level. Most things can take 3d10 of damage at 17th level.
Yeah, but also, since it is, save is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So you either save or fail.
Okay.
If they want, you could keep it that way and give it a number of uses equal to your proficiency bonus while the aspect of the Wyrm is up.
That'd be great. That would be so cool.
You could even make it a bonus action.
So instead of
bonus action, I do this.
Instead of Frightful Presence, you're doing Explosive Fury. So you have the choice. I'm going to lock down one thing, or I'm going to blow up the things around me. Lock it down or blow it up. That would have been fantastic. Why not? Why would you not have added that in there?
Yeah, I mean, either give it a number of uses equal to proficiency or half of that. So, like, at 17th level, you either have 6 uses, or you could tone that down and say 3 uses.
Yeah. Almost, you could have changed Explosive Fury and Resistance and been fine between the 11th and 17th level. Explosive Fury did the when you went into it, you could have the Explosive Fury and blow up somebody, and then also have the Frightful Presence instead of the Resistance. And later on, got the Resistance in the 17th level. That's not that bad. That's actually okay.
Yeah, but then people would tell you the Resistance was too late.
Probably, but instead of that, the Explosive Fury to me is just kind of a wasted tack-on ability. But thank you, because it's not downside. There's no downside to it.
And it's free.
And it's free to something you're already going to do, so that's already baseline okay.
Yeah, but
it's not bad. It's
these 3 things at 17th level, they just don't feel like a 17th level, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't. When you have things like the paladins that enter avatar states.
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
The other big huge abilities, and also one thing it does not feel, aside from the blind sight, in my opinion, it doesn't feel like a martial artist. Yeah, like blind sight I can get because you've now gained, you know where your body's at all times. You feel the wind. You've become attuned to the things around you. That makes sense, but augmented breath is dragon. You are becoming a dragon. Explosive Fury, becoming a dragon. Now that would also fit the elemental monk. That would make sense for them because they're trying to become elements and use the elements. And maybe their explosive fury is them punching everybody around them with fire, which I guess you can do say the same thing here too.
We'll do our final thoughts before we do the role play.
Yeah, let's do our final thoughts on that before we get to roll, because the role play of this is probably the best part of it.
Right. It honestly is the best part. But, okay, so I feel like this class is so front-end loaded. So very front-end loaded.
Yes.
The best abilities of this subclass come at 3rd level and 6th level. And the stuff you get at 11th level and 17th level, it's good, but it's not strong enough that even like I would even consider like, yeah, I need to go all the way
Yeah.
from 11th to 17th. I am more likely to multi-class in this because it's so front end loaded. Because these other things is like it's okay, but it's not great.
The only good thing about the subclass is that it is a monk subclass, and every level for a monk, they get something good. Like,
Yeah.
There's no dead level for a monk. It's
Yeah, but
always
I would-
something useful, something that...
I would go higher in monk
Yeah.
because of monk, not because of what the subclass offers.
Exactly. That's
Like
the downside.
these are the
to it.
bonuses.
Yeah, that's the downside to it. It's like I don't want to become better at becoming like a dragon. I want to be better at being a monk. And
That is mimicking things of a dragon.
Mimicking things of a dragon. And that's the major feel for me. This doesn't feel like a monk subclass. This feels like a dragon subclass.
Yeah, you could have tagged this to almost any other martial class, and it would feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Aside from a couple of different things in it,
and
that
using key points.
The key points, really, the key points. If you just use it in any other way, like a fighter doing, this would fit a fighter perfectly. Really. I mean, they're not arcane.
Paladins could use spell slots instead of key points.
Paladins, maybe the rogue is the only one that doesn't really fit this particular build, but a ranger would fit this just fine. It does have power, and probably this would be a power style build. I can see there are a lot of things you can do with this class that for those power builders out there you would enjoy. Just the ability to change one of your attacks into an AoE is strong.
Yeah, I mean, the Draconic Breath, but I mean, most people are getting this for
the Draconic Strike.
The Draconic Strikes.
You're
and
100%.
Changing your unarmed strikes into elemental attacks, essentially.
Yeah.
And, if something's immune to it, like, or just the fact that your attacks are always going to do damage.
Yeah, and with just a little bit of thought, you can, if you, looking for something, you can find out the vulnerability of something.
Mm-hmm.
And now you just go, well, I'll just keep using that now. And now you are the answer to this thing indefinitely because everything you do to it doubles damage.
Yeah,
that's great. I think our final thought really on it is that,
Yeah. So, but the final thought on this is that, honestly, it's a little too front-end loaded. There's not enough good on the back end of this to make this subclass, like, exceptional.
Rawr.
Yeah, which, I mean, I get it. You're the Ascendant Dragon, but it does focus more on, like, magical presence of a dragon instead of martial arts dragon feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they kind of missed the mark on this one. Like, front end, fantastic. The back end, they just kind of missed the mark.
Play it till 6th level and then find something else to do.
Yeah. But let's talk about the role play.
Yep.
There's really not a whole lot for us to go off on role play wise, like that we could talk about, like, from movies or TV shows. If there's something out there you guys could think of, put it in the comments, please.
Because we can't think of anything that this really fits from movies, TV shows, books, comic books.
But I mean, honestly, it's very dependent on the player how they're going to want to role play the Ascendant Dragon subclass. I mean, how would you play it, Adam?
I would play it as a monk that has learned the beginning techniques of the Ascendant Dragon, but is going to actively travel and find other dragons to watch them and try and mimic their movements and their muscle structure and all of that to learn the new techniques so they could properly master the Ascendant Dragon.
That could be kind of cool. Like you described, like when you're doing fire damage, you're a red type dragon or a gold dragon, and like you're doing some of these crazy moves that it will exude the fire. Whereas if you're like maybe a green dragon, you're doing something that's more piercing, and like that's what's bringing the poison damage.
Acid. Oh, green's poison. Black's acid.
Black's acid, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'd play it as. Is it's specifically less about the power that is around them. It's what they do with their own body that would mimic that power. So instead of it being, they would be very unassuming until they start fighting.
Right. Which, I mean, that's still kind of cool.
Be fun.
Yeah. And the way I would play it is like I would kind of see it more of in like the magical aspect. Like maybe my character was, had dragon blood or believed that they were some type of a dragon possessed maybe or something.
Reincarnation.
Yeah, and the way I'm fighting is I'm actually using like magical essence or spirit of a dragon. So like the in some of my forms, I assume like a spectral dragon aspect would come up, or maybe my body changes to like whenever I do like a certain strikes, like maybe my left hand has like red scales and my right hand has black scales, so I'm doing fire and then acid damage on my strikes.
Or you could also, in playing off a little bit of what I did, is going to find dragons and mimic. Yours could be about finding dragon layers and other stuff, and basically be an essence eater, where you go and you absorb the power that is from these elemental foci and dragon layers, because they like to pick specific places, and maybe that you're gaining your power from being in those areas and absorbing it into yourself, which is kind of what dragons do anyway.
Because I mean, certain dragons, like when they've created a lair, the areas around their layers exude essence and have effects from just them being there. So it could be you going and finding these areas and training in those areas and kind of leeching off of it.
Yeah, and eventually you become the thing that you're being with.
Yeah. Now, one thing I think would be cool is like, now I know this would be hindering the subclass, but I think it'd be cool if you chose one damage type. And that's just the damage type you had, and you didn't unlock the other damage types until you went out and searched for them. Like you had to find a red or a gold dragon, you had to find a silver or a black or a brass dragon to like unlock the different damage types. Like they had to actually teach you, or maybe you had to find like scrolls and tomes of other things to teach you how to unlock those things. I think that would be cool. I know a lot of people wouldn't be game for that because it's hindering
the best ability of
the best
class.
Ability of the class. But I think that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be interesting. And this honestly is an interesting subclass. I know we've sounded like we've had a lot of negative views on this. It actually is an interesting subclass, and it is unique in itself. Even though it feels like it could fit in any other class, it is unique, and the roleplay value is that there's nothing else like you. The closest thing you have is the Draconic bloodline as a sorcerer, where they're actively becoming a dragon, and you're actively gaining the power of a dragon.
Yeah,
but it would play totally different.
Yeah, but if we're being honest, whoever picks this subclass is going to have a great and fun time with it and describing their strikes, describing how they have these things. But the things that we didn't like the most people aren't even going to deal with that because most people don't play high level.
Yeah.
So all the things that we did like, everyone's going to get to experience those things, and very few people are going to get the aspect of the Wyrm and Ascendant Aspect because most people don't play that high level.
No. So it won't really matter. It'll be a fun class for what you're going to get.
Yeah. I mean, and hey, for all you people that play out there and get that high or just start high-level campaigns, have fun with it. Tell us if it made a difference, when you played it, or if you had more fun using these abilities when playing high level. But, I mean, for us, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm
right down the middle. Like, I like the subclass. I don't like some of the stuff afterwards, but I do believe that I would have enough fun with it and enough like flavoring and descriptions that I could really have just a lot of fun with this class.
Yeah, I'm just So, but if you're not and you want to comment in our comments down here and let us know what you think, or you like what you're seeing and hearing, subscribe, like the video. And hit that bell notification at the bottom.
Yep. Until then, keep having fun with your friends at the gaming table and roll some nat 19s.